I used to chase flats of annuals every spring. Exhausting, pricey, short-lived. Then I learned a simple rhythm. Early, mid, late bloomers working like a relay team. One starts in cool weather, the next takes over in early summer, and the finishers carry color into fall without extra work. Suddenly, the garden cared for me as much as I cared for it. Today, I'll share the exact 15 perennials we count on: Helleborus, Siberian iris, echinacea, rudbeckia, sedum, and a few ornamental grasses to create decades of calm color and habitat. No heavy feeding, minimal deadheading, just steady joy and buzzing life right outside your door. Here's the secret. We don't chase blooms, we stage them. Let's talk about the relay season secret, how we pace bloom times so there's always something fresh in view and something feeding the bees. Early, mid, and late season plants pass the baton so our beds never stall. Each group carries a few steady weeks, then hands off to the next. Early usually means March into April, mid stretches from May through June, late holds July into October. No panic planting, no long gaps, just a calm turn of color that feels like it runs itself. Most gardens blow all their energy in one big wave. Spring pops, then everything takes a nap. We watch stems flop, colors fade, and the weeds walk in. Many of us end up paying for tray after tray of short-lived annuals. That costs money and time we'd rather spend enjoying the shade with a cool drink. A relay garden ends that loop. We aim once and the garden keeps giving. We set up 3 lanes. The early anchors wake up while our coats still hang by the door. Think late winter into early spring. Helleborus leads here. It pushes buds when the soil is cool and the days are short. Then come the mid-season stars, the steady workers with shape and stamina, Siberian iris and baptisia, bringing form and color as spring warms through May and June. Finally, the late workhorses carry us through hot afternoons and into sweater nights. Rudbeckia and sedum keep the lights on from July well into fall. Think of bloom time like setting 3 clocks, so one always chimes. The early clock rings first in March and April, then quiets as the mid clock takes over in May and June. Near the end, the late clock keeps time in July, August, September, and often October. This spacing keeps everything from peaking at once and fading together. You avoid that big spring fireworks show followed by a long dull summer. There's another layer to this. When we stagger bloom times, we leave fewer lean weeks for bees and butterflies. Flowers open when nectar is scarce elsewhere, so our beds act like a small pantry that never runs empty. From early hellebore pollen to late sedum nectar, there's always a plate on the table. That steadiness encourages more visits, and more visits usually means stronger, healthier growth around the whole border. Placement matters. Group plants by what they need. Sun lovers together where they get 6 or more hours. Shade lovers where afternoon light softens. That one move cuts fuss. We water more evenly, mulch the right depth, and avoid nursing a sun plant in shade or pushing a shade plant into glare. Start tall in the back, mid-height in the middle, and low at the front. Let baptisia and panicum stand guard behind. Keep echinacea, rudbeckia, and Siberian iris at eye level. Pull heuchera and sedum near the edge, where they soften the border and help cover soil. The result feels designed without a long plan on paper. We'll build all of this with a tight core of 15 perennials. Not dozens, 15. Each one earns its spot with long life, simple care, and honest bloom time. You plant them once, give them a season of steady water to settle in, and then they behave like low-cost neighbors who mow their own lawns. That's the rhythm we're after. Color without chores. Here's the real magic. Timing does the heavy lifting, not fertilizer, not daily snips. When a plant starts to slow, we already have the next one poised to shine. In June, iris steps back as coneflowers gear up. In August, daisies fade while sedum blushes. A few seed heads here for the birds. Fresh buds there gearing up. A border that looks alive because it is. Let's make it practical. Map your months. Place early bloomers where you pass in March and April. Near the mailbox, the front walk, the patio steps. Put mid-season color where you linger in May and June. Save the sunniest, warmest spots for late-season stalwarts that thrive in heat and carry you toward October. Use one soil prep at the start. Compost worked in, 2 to 3 inches of mulch, and you've dialed down watering and weeding all season. It's a long-term investment paid out in calm mornings. We're not gambling on trends or chasing exotic names. We're setting a steady beat we can trust for years. And yes, we'll name every plant, where it goes, and why it earns its place. You'll have a clear list you can take to the garden center and a layout you can sketch in 10 minutes at the kitchen table. If you like a head start on the year, the next step is simple. We begin with the early anchors that wake the garden while the air still calls for a sweater. Let's set the stage for early bloom anchors. Color before the lilacs and a calm start to the season. We anchor the season with 3 steady friends that don't ask much and give a lot: Helleborus, heuchera, coral bells, and pulmonaria. They wake the beds before the lilacs even think about it, and they do it without fuss. Early spring can look bare, and that's when weeds try to move in. These anchors fill the space fast enough to hold the line so you aren't bending and pulling when it's still chilly. Helleborus, the Lenten rose, does the heavy lifting first. It keeps its leaves through winter in most gardens, so you're never staring at empty ground. The blooms nod, which helps them shrug off cold snaps and late frosts. Colors run from soft white and apple green to rose and plum, so you can build a calm palette. It thrives in shade, especially with a layer of mulch that keeps roots cool and moist. Deer usually skip it, which saves your patience and your budget. Here's the real magic. Plant it once, let it settle, and a clump can bloom for decades. Often 50 years or more in the same spot. That's a long-term investment you can count on. Set Helleborus a foot or two in from the path, not right on the edge. The evergreen leaves sit like a low fan, and that fringe looks best when it has a little breathing room. Space plants so their crowns are just at soil level. Add compost once at planting, then a 2 to 3 inch mulch over the top, keeping it off the crowns so they don't stay soggy. That single prep step pays for years. Deadheading is optional. If you leave the flowers to age into seed, you still get tidy clumps and a long show. Now we stitch in heuchera, the coral bells. This is foliage we plant as if it were a flower. Think burgundy, lime, silver, and all the subtle shades in between. Those leaves hold color even when skies are gray, and they pack in so tightly that weeds struggle to germinate. Place them in the front third of the bed and between slower neighbors. They knit the whole picture together while you wait for later buds. In strong sun, some varieties can fade. In dappled shade, the colors stay rich and calm. The short bloom spikes in late spring are a bonus, not the main act, so you don't need to chase them with scissors. Pulmonaria, the lungwort, brings speckled leaves like a soft sprinkling of silver. In early spring, clusters of flowers open pink and shift to blue as they mature, which gives you a gentle, changing note week by week. Bees find these blooms early when nectar is scarce elsewhere. That makes pulmonaria a reliable pantry for pollinators right when they need it most. You'll see steady visits right by your steps. Pulmonaria likes consistent moisture, especially through its first year, but it asks for little else. Give it morning sun with afternoon shade, and it will stay fresh into summer. Think of these three as a welcome mat that never gets muddy. The leaves are the mat, the nodding blooms are the greeting, and because they cover ground, they block the space that weeds would take. If you ever worried that your bed wakes up too late, this trio moves your start line forward by weeks. You step outside and there's color, texture, and calm before the lilacs open. Care could not be simpler. We prep the soil once with compost. We water through the first season so roots set deep. Then we let mulch handle the moisture and the weeds. No heavy feeding, no constant deadheading. In late winter, brush away tattered leaves from Helleborus so the new growth can shine. For heuchera, tuck the crowns back under a little compost if frost heave lifts them. Pulmonaria appreciates a top-up of mulch before summer to hold even moisture. Place these early anchors where you can see them from inside, near paths, patios, and the mailbox. On days when wind bites, you won't feel like roaming the yard, so bring the color close. A pair of Helleborus by the steps, a sweep of heuchera along the walk, and a small drift of pulmonaria near a bench keep the show easy to enjoy without a long walk. Function meets beauty in the most delightful way. If deer traffic is heavy, lead with Helleborus and heuchera, and tuck pulmonaria a little deeper in the bed. If your soil holds water, raise the area an inch or two with compost before planting. The goal is steady drainage and simple upkeep, not perfect soil. Mini payoff right here. Your garden wakes weeks earlier with almost no extra work. And as these anchors settle in and keep the ground dressed, we're ready to bring in the mid-season muscle that stands tall, lasts for years, and asks for almost nothing. Now the mid-season takes the stage with plants that bring form and color without adding chores. Mid-season muscle, structure without fuss. Can a plant look like a small shrub, live for decades, and still need almost nothing from you? Here's the secret. We anchor late spring into early summer with 3 workhorses that behave like structure and color in one package. Baptisia, Siberian iris, and salvia. They stand on their own. They knit the bed together, and they do it without stakes, constant feed, or daily snips. Mid-season can be where chores pile up. Stems lean, flowers finish fast. The to-do list grows. We dodge that by choosing plants that hold their shape and keep blooming with simple, light touches. Think of this trio as a backbone you can trust. They carry the show while we enjoy the shade. Baptisia, often called false indigo, brings the bones. It forms a rounded, shrub-like clump that gets better each year. Native to the American prairies, it's built for wind, sun, and lean soil. The flower spikes are pea-like and come in blues, creams, and warm tones depending on the variety. Once roots settle, it handles heat and long dry spells with ease. No staking, no feeding. In strong sun and poor soil, it still performs. Give it room so the mound can mature without crowding neighbors. If you like a smaller footprint, compact lines stay around 2 to 3 feet tall and wide, which fits narrow borders. Let the seed pods form if you enjoy their look, or skip them if you prefer a tidier profile. Either way, the plant keeps its poise and draws bees and butterflies through mid to late spring. Siberian iris gives us movement and calm at once. The slender blades read like living sculpture, clean and upright. Blooms arrive from mid-May into June, in shades from white to deep violet and near black. Even after the flowers pass, the foliage keeps its neat stance, so the bed never looks tired. It grows in average soil, and while it appreciates steady moisture, it still manages in typical garden conditions and can take sun or light shade. The clump thickens over time, which quietly suppresses weeds by closing gaps. When it starts to feel crowded, usually after a few years, lift and divide the clump on a mild day. Replant sections with fresh spacing and it will reward you with another long run. Perennial salvia, the hardy sages like S. nemorosa and its kin, is our steady color engine and a magnet for bees and hummingbirds. Aromatic leaves help deter some nibblers, and the flower spikes return if we give a light shear after the first flush. Not a hard cut, just a quick pass with pruners to remove spent stems above the new buds. It thrives in average, well-drained soil and doesn't ask for rich fertilizer. Purple is classic, but you'll also find soft pinks and whites that pair well with the cool blades of Siberian iris and the solid mound of Baptisia. If you prefer an airier look in full sun and heat, Russian sage offers similar drifted color with silvery stems. Space plants so air moves between them. That one habit reduces summer fuss. Think of these three like a simple, sturdy chair. Baptisia is the frame. Siberian iris is the clean line. Salvia is the soft seat that refreshes with a quick fluff. The result feels designed, even on a shoestring budget. Your maintenance playbook stays simple. Lay a fresh 2 to 3 inch mulch in spring to lock in moisture and block new weeds. Skip heavy feeding. After salvia's first bloom, shear lightly to encourage a second wave. Watch your iris clumps. When the center blooms thin, divide and share. Baptisia needs almost nothing beyond that first season's watering while it sets roots. That's the gift that keeps giving. Here's the real magic. This trio replaces cartloads of short-lived color. Plant once and enjoy for a decade or more. You spend less at the garden center and you gain more quiet Saturdays. The common mistake that costs many of us hundreds each year is cycling through trays of annuals that fade with heat, then buying more to fill the gaps. We step off that treadmill with plants that hold their ground and return stronger. If you want a tighter look, choose one salvia variety and repeat it in threes between iris clumps. Tuck Baptisia behind as the anchor, about 3 feet from the bed edge, so it can mature without leaning over the walk. In smaller spaces, select compact Baptisia and smaller iris forms, then thread a single salvia line for continuity. Keep the soil even, not soggy. Water deeply the first season, then step back. By mid-season, the bones are set and color keeps pulsing. As the days heat up and the calendar flips toward July, we lean into plants that don't blink when the sun presses down. Late-season workhorses. When heat turns up, they shine. Want your garden to look freshest in August when others fade? Here's the secret. We lean on 4 late-season workhorses that don't blink at heat. Echinacea, Rudbeckia, Coreopsis, and Sedum. They hold color from the dog days into sweater weather, and they do it without daily watering or fussy feeding. Many of these are North American natives, which means they're built for our seasons and support local pollinators without extra fuss. Echinacea, the coneflower, brings sturdy stems and deep roots that tap into moisture other plants miss. The classic purple form is a staple, yet newer colors can shift the mood from soft to bold without changing care. Flowers sit high and clean, so even a small drift reads clear from the porch. You can skip strict deadheading. Clip a few spent blooms if you want a tidier face, but leave many to form seed heads. Goldfinches will thank you later. Echinacea pairs well with our mid-season neighbors, Salvia and Nepeta if they're nearby, but it stands strong on its own too. Rudbeckia follows with a long run of bright daisy faces that seem to glow in late light. It thrives in sun and average soil, and it builds a rhythm that bridges weeks of heat. Plant it in the middle tier where it can hold the eye without hiding shorter friends at the edge. The stems keep their posture and the petals keep coming, so you're not out there staking or fussing. As the weeks roll by, the centers darken and add texture. That slow shift adds depth to the late-season palette and keeps the border from feeling flat. Coreopsis, especially the threadleaf types, delivers weeks of soft, airy color with almost no help from you. The fine foliage reads like a gentle cloud that catches the sun. Many threadleaf varieties keep blooming without deadheading. If you give a light shear after the first flush, you'll coax another wave. Not a hard haircut, just a simple pass that keeps the mound even. It thrives in heat and leans into lean soil, which means less feeding, less coddling. Even in a small space, you can tuck 2 or 3 along a path and get a steady hum of yellow or warm tones that brighten the whole bed. Sedum, or stonecrop, is the anchor that laughs at dry spells. Its leaves store water like tiny tanks, so it stays plump when others wilt. Upright forms build tidy mounds that hold their shape, then cap themselves with late heads that open for bees at just the right time. After frost, the seed heads stand like small sculptures, adding a firm outline to the winter view. If you prefer a cleaner look in spring, cut them back then. Until that point, let them hold snow and shadow, its function meeting beauty in the most delightful way. Late season often means crispy leaves and a hose that never gets put away. We dodge that by planting tough roots from the start, sun, average soil, and room to breathe. Then we step back and let resilience do the heavy lifting. Think of water like a savings account. Make solid deposits the first season with deep, infrequent watering. After that, you withdraw only during long droughts. No daily spritzing, no coaxing, just steady growth. Here's a small placement trick. Set echinacea and rudbeckia at eye level where you sit in the evening because they catch low light and glow. Thread coreopsis along the front edge to soften the line. Tuck sedum near stone or gravel where heat bounces. It actually enjoys that warm pocket. Repeat one plant every few feet to calm the view and reduce the urge to buy extras you don't need. We don't feed heavy here. These plants prefer moderation. A light compost top dress in spring and a 2 to 3 inch mulch to lock in moisture are enough. Let seed heads stand on echinacea and rudbeckia as the season turns. Birds gain food. You gain less cleanup. If you want a few bouquets, harvest stems in the cool of morning and they'll hold well in a simple jar. If pests worry you, note the quiet help built into this group. Many daisies carry a clean, aromatic edge, and echinacea's sturdy habit invites beneficial visitors while staying calm under pressure. A diverse late-season mix like this draws bees and butterflies when choices are thin, and that steady traffic often keeps trouble in balance without sprays. So here's your mini payoff. Hot weather color arrives and stays, with resilience baked in. You get long bloom runs, bird-friendly seed heads, and bones that hold through fall. And when flowers pause, we still want structure, movement, and quiet beauty, without adding chores. When petals take a break, we bring in motion and form that never feels needy. Ornamental grasses, 4 seasons, 0 drama. Could 2 or 3 grasses make your garden look designed year-round with almost no maintenance? Here's the secret. We add a quiet backbone with switchgrass, panicum, little bluestem, schizochyrium, and feather reed grass, calamagrostis. These 3 carry movement when beds feel still and keep the view tidy without a chore list. Many borders slump in winter, bare soil shows, weeds get a head start, and the whole space looks tired. Grasses fix that with upright stems that hold through frost, seed heads that feed birds, and a single cut once a year. They also shelter beneficial insects low in the clumps, so life stays humming while perennials sleep. Switchgrass, panicum, gives us the strong vertical we crave and a soft rustle that feels like calm. It thrives in full sun and handles a wide range of soils, from sand to clay, in dry spots, and even areas that stay damp after rain. The habit stays upright, which means it doesn't sprawl over paths. As days shorten, the foliage shifts into warm tones, turning the back of the border into a gentle glow. Seed heads form right as fall birds are looking for food, so we can skip feeders near that area and let the clumps do the work. Use switchgrass as a screen, a background, or a single statement near a bench. One clump holds the frame like a quiet post and needs almost nothing from you. Many cultivars in the prairie winds lines fit zones 4 to 9, but always check the tag. Little bluestem schizochyrium brings blue-gray blades in summer that turn to copper as nights cool. It stands tall through snow, which means the shape stays readable when many perennials go flat. In small gardens, this is gold, because a few narrow clumps give height without stealing space. Plant it where afternoon light can shine through the stems. That glow makes even a simple border look crafted. Little bluestem likes sun and lean soil. Too much fertilizer pushes it soft, so we keep it on a modest diet and let nature do the shaping. Most forms handle zones 3 to 9, which makes placement easy across many regions. Feather reed grass, calamagrostis, lays down the crisp lines that make the whole bed look intentional. It sends up early plumes that catch dew and stay neat as they dry. Clumps remain tight. They don't flop and they don't wander. That discipline is why many designers reach for it when they need fast order. Use it to echo a fence post, frame a gate, or repeat along a path. 3 matching clumps spaced down a border act like quiet metronome. They set the beat so flowers can move without chaos. Carl Forster types suit zones 4 to 9, and their vertical stance reads clearly from the street or a porch chair. Think of grasses as the coat rack by your door. They hold the shape. Perennials come and go like scarves and hats. Because the rack stands, the entry never looks messy. Grasses do this for the garden in every season. Fresh green in spring, full in summer, glowing in fall, sculptural in winter. While perennials go dormant, those stems keep the outline and offer safe pockets for helpful insects until warm weather returns. Care is simple. Shear each clump once in late winter or very early spring before new shoots rise. Cut last year's stems down to a hand's height. That one task refreshes everything. No staking, no constant water once established. They thrive in average to lean soils, and too much food only loosens their posture. In the first season, give deep, infrequent water so roots run down. After that, step back. If a clump outgrows its spot after several years, lift and divide on a cool day and replant the sections. You get free plants and a tidy border. The cut foliage can head to the compost pile and turn into future mulch. For design, repeat one grass every 6 to 8 feet to unify the view and calm the eye. Choose one leader. If you want height and bird food, lean on switchgrass. If you want tight, vertical lines, choose feather reed grass. If you want shifting color and winter stance, run with little bluestem. Then weave the others in smaller numbers so one voice leads and the rest support. Keep tall grasses toward the back or use them as pillars flanking a seat. Hold shorter clumps near paths to frame, not crowd. Simple spacing, clear rhythm. Here's the real magic. With 3 clumps placed on a shoestring budget, your garden reads like a designed space all year. Spring greens rise through the old stems. Summer plumes sway, fall color deepens, winter bones stand proud, all for one annual cut and almost no fuss. If you're ready to keep this easy rhythm going, the next step is choosing the core plants once and planting with intention so the whole year clicks into place. Let's put names to the backbone we've been building and make the plan concrete for the years ahead. The exact 15 are plant once, 20-year core. Our core has 15 perennials that carry color from March to October with almost no fuss. Early anchors, Helleborus, Heuchera, Pulmonaria, plus a Helleborus-friendly ground cover like Epimedium, mid-season mussel, Baptisia, Siberian iris, Salvia, and Nepeta. Late-season workhorses, Echinacea, Rudbeckia, Coreopsis, and Sedum. And for 4-season structure, 3 grasses, Panicum, Calamagrostis, and Little Bluestem. That's 15. And together they keep the relay moving from early spring through fall. Too many choices at the garden center lead to cart chaos. We buy what catches the eye, then get home and realize half of it wants shade and the rest demands sun. Care needs don't match. Watering turns into guesswork. This list solves that. Every plant has a clear lane, a known habit, and a proven track record. We're building a low-maintenance, high-reward sanctuary on a shoestring budget. Let's map the bed so it reads clean and feels calm. Tall in back, mid in the center, low at the front. Baptisia and Panicum stand at the rear like quiet posts. They set the height and keep paths clear. In the middle tier, hold the eye with Echinacea, Rudbeckia, and Siberian iris. Their stems stay neat and their flowers read well from the porch. At the front edge, soften the line with Heuchera, Pulmonaria, and Sedum. That edge planting blocks weeds and gives you color right where you walk. Sun and shade decide the neighborhoods. Cluster Helleborus, Heuchera, Pulmonaria, and Epimedium in part shade, especially where afternoons are bright but not harsh. They thrive under open trees or along the north side of a fence. Keep the daisies and grasses, Echinacea, Rudbeckia, Coreopsis, Panicum, Calamagrostis, Little Bluestem, in full sun. Salvia and Nepeta bridge the sunny zones with steady bloom and aromatic leaves. Siberian iris sits comfortably in sun to light shade and ties both sides together. Water strategy stays simple. Use a drip line or a soaker hose for the first season. Deep, steady watering teaches roots to dive, then taper. After that, water only during long dry spells. Lay 2 to 3 inches of organic mulch to lock in moisture, cut weeding, and moderate soil temperature. That blanket keeps roots even and your to-do list short. It's a long-term investment that pays back in quiet mornings. Accessibility matters, my dear garden-loving friends. Keep high-impact color where you see it most. Place Echinacea and Rudbeckia near paths and seating so you can enjoy them without a long walk. Use raised edges or low stone borders so you can reach without bending far. Tuck Pulmonaria near the patio for early spring smiles. Let Calamagrostis frame a bench with tidy lines that never flop. This is garden joy designed for comfort. Here's a mini design recipe that works every time. Repeat colors in odd numbers to calm the view and avoid visual noise. Run 3 clumps of salvia in a gentle zigzag through the mid-zone. Pair Echinacea with Panicum so strong stems meet soft plumes. Weave Sedum near stones or gravel where stored heat brings on warm fall tones. Thread Nepeta along the front thirds for a low, humming edge. Early lane, set Helleborus a foot in from the path, flank with Heuchera, then plug gaps with Epimedium so soil stays covered. Pulmonaria sits just behind the front edge to feed spring bees. Mid-lane, anchor Baptisia slightly off-center to avoid blocking sight lines. Then space Siberian iris, where its blades can read as clean lines between color blocks. Salvia and Nepeta stitch those pockets with repeat bloom. Late lane, Cluster Echinacea and Rudbeckia where evening light lands, and float Coreopsis along the front for weeks of airy color. Sedum caps the season and stands into winter. Keep choices tight. Pick one variety per roll if you like a calm look, or two per roll if you enjoy a little play. The rhythm is the key. Early leaves and nodding blooms, mid-structure and steady spikes, late daisies, deep seed heads, and strong bones from the grasses. It feels designed because the heights, textures, and bloom times work in a simple, steady handoff. Mini payoff right here. This exact mix provides continuous bloom from early spring through fall, with structure that carries into winter. Plant once, water well the first season, mulch 2 to 3 inches, then keep your care plan short and consistent, the kind you can glance at and follow without stress. So let's lay out the care plan that keeps everything humming with almost no fuss. Set and forget care, the 20-minute monthly rhythm. What if your entire maintenance plan fits on an index card? Here's the secret. We set a simple rhythm and stick to it. Prep the soil once at planting with compost. Water through the first season so roots dive deep. After that, we mulch when needed. Give light trims to keep blooms coming and divide a few clumps every 3 to 5 years. That's it. A calm plan you can read in one glance and follow in 20 minutes a month. Many folks worry they'll spend all summer deadheading and hauling fertilizer. That fear keeps good gardeners from planting perennials at all. We ease that worry by letting time and smart placement do most of the work. Our job is light, steady care, not daily rescue. Spring starts the clock. Cut ornamental grasses down to a hand's height before new shoots rise. That one cut resets the whole border. Add a thin compost top dress around the crowns. Think a light layer, not a thick cake. Then pull the mulch back in place. Check your drip or soaker hoses for leaks and clogs. Run them once to be sure water reaches the root zone, not the path. When salvia and nepeta finish their first flush, give a light prune. Snip the spent spikes above the new leaves. You'll see fresh buds within weeks, and the plants stay tidy without extra feeding. As days warm, watch moisture, not the calendar. In summer, water deep during long droughts only. Slow soaking sessions train roots to hold their own. Skip the daily spritz. It wets leaves, not roots, and invites mildew. When Coreopsis slows after weeks of bloom, shear it lightly, just an inch or two to even the mound. That little haircut triggers a second wave. While you're out there, cut a few bouquets in the cool of morning. Harvesting keeps plants pushing new stems and gives you color on the kitchen table. Fall is where we save the most effort. Let seed heads stand on Echinacea and Rudbeckia. Birds will feed themselves, and you'll gain winter texture for free. Leave most leaves where they fall as a light blanket under shrubs and in quiet corners. They break down and feed the soil. If piles smother the crowns at the front edge, move that extra layer into beds as mulch. No heavy cleanup, no bagging, just a gentle tidy and a calm walk back inside. Every 3 to 5 years, we refresh a few perennials to keep them vigorous. Siberian iris tells you it's ready when the center clump blooms less than the edges. Lift it on a cool, cloudy day, slice the rhizomes into hand-sized fans, and replant with space between divisions. Coreopsis also perks up after a quick divide. Pop out a section, split it, and reset the smaller clumps. Share extras with neighbors. Your border stays lively, and your community gains color. On pests and deer, we lean on quiet allies. Aromatic nepeta and salvia make a gentle line that many nibblers skip. Their scent is pleasant to us and less tempting to grazers. A mix of bloom times and plant shapes brings in more helpful insects, which helps balance the rest. Diverse beds often settle into their own piece, so sprays and powders stay on the shelf. Think of this routine like tending a small stove. You keep a steady flame, a quick stir now and then. You don't rebuild the fire every hour. Compost is fuel. Mulch is the lid that holds in moisture. Light trims are that stir that keeps the pot from sticking. Simple moves maintain the simmer. Here's the real magic. No heavy feeding, minimal deadheading. A pace that suits our days. We do a few small tasks at the right moments, and the garden pays us back with months of bloom and steady calm. My dear garden-loving friends, this rhythm delivers ease and beauty on a shoestring budget. Write your index card like this: spring cut and compost, early summer shear and enjoy, deep water only in drought, fall leave seed heads and leaves. Divide a couple of clumps every 3 to 5 years. That's your whole plan. Tape it to the shed door. Done. Sustainable gardening is also the easiest gardening. We save water, skip big inputs, and let plants do what they're built to do. Keep this rhythm, and the seasons start doing the work for you. Color arriving on cue. Calm returning week after week, setting us up for what matters most next. As we wrap up, let's bring it home with the heart of this plan. Conclusion: when we plant for seasons, not weekends, the garden gives back for decades. Color, calm, a haven for butterflies and bees. It also gives us gentle movement, steady purpose, and low-stress care that fits our days. Here's the secret: we moved from chasing trays of annuals to decades of joy with a simple, repeatable plan. My dear garden-loving friends, if this spoke to you, subscribe and share it with a friend. Drop your favorite perennial in the comments so our golden seniors living family can grow together. One afternoon of planting, years of pure tranquility. Function meets beauty in the most delightful way. Now let's go plant something wonderful.